Hey everybody, this week I wanted to give you, we've got a lot of positive response where we did our Arlo Pro 3 camera installation here at our house. And we've had another camera, and I just bought another one just like it. It's called the Arlo Go.
It's fantastic.
And so, you know, most of your home security systems and all that, your cameras, your Arlo Go's, your gosh, I don't remember all the name of the other brands, but you know all of them out there. You've done, if you're here watching this, you've been looking. But you know, nearly all of them work off Wi-Fi. You know, you got to have some kind of network set up so to hook up to on your Wi-Fi, and then it only works within so much of a range of that to be able to pick up the cameras that's wireless. Well, the beautiful thing about the Arlo Go is it works off, this new one works off 4G.
No Wi-Fi needed.
No Wi-Fi needed. And so it's called the Arlo Go. And like I say, we had one years ago. We had some land that we bought
up in the mountains.
Up in the mountains. That's you know, several hours away from us. And we just wanted a way to just honestly watch the sunsets and when it snowed up there. And so we bought one and put it up there and kept it on the property for years. I guess three, 4 years maybe.
You see all these people who play videos of fireplaces crackling on their TVs or snow falling in the mountains. We were just watching a live feed from our property.
Yeah. And so anyway, so we had one for quite a few years, and then it got to be where we was visiting up there enough that we finally took the camera down. Actually, my solar panel, I had a solar panel hooked up.
Some glitches.
I had some glitches with it and like that, so I took it down, and we wasn't using it that much, so decided to disconnect it and everything. Well, now that we're doing the craft shows, a lot of these craft shows we go to, we have to set up
multiple days,
like on a Thursday, Friday night, and then our merchandise and tent and everything is set up there all weekend. Now, they provide security.
Yes, and we've never had any issues. There's always been security. Everything's been fantastic.
Yeah, never had any problems, never have any reason to believe there'd be any problems, but I'm a security freak, and I love gadgets, so.
Well, and beyond that, guys, I mean, we do take every precaution when we set up our tent and our booth. We do put heavy weights on every leg of our tent just in case the wind was to catch it. But if we're away at a campsite or in a hotel and the wind happened to catch our tent and blow it over, we'd have no way of finding out until the next day. And so we just like having a little bit of security there so that we can keep an eye on our things and just make sure everything is good.
Yeah, so about a month ago, before we did our show in Helen, we actually purchased a new Arlo Go, because the other one, for some reason, after I left it disconnected for so long, I never could get it working again.
It just would not sync back up.
I don't know if I did something wrong.
Or if it was just too old.
Just too old, maybe out in the weather too long, which these are weatherproof, so it shouldn't have been the weather. But anyways, and it actually worked off 3G, and so when I quit using it, we was beginning to have some trouble with it. It didn't want to pick up distances and stuff like that. But we bought a new one. This one is a 4G, and like I say, it works off cell phone. Our phones are through Verizon, so we actually went right through Verizon and bought it, and there's a Verizon logo on this box somewhere. So this one we actually bought right through Verizon. AT&T also sells these. You can also buy them directly from Arlo. So if you're not on AT&T or Verizon, they do have a way, because it has to have a SIM card. And so Arlo does have a way that if you're not on AT&T or Verizon, you can purchase it directly through them, and they will hook you up with a SIM card, and somehow they bill you.
Get it activated, yes.
Well, they bill you through Arlo that way. Now ours, since we already had Verizon cell phones, I bought it through Verizon, so the SIM card is from Verizon. So basically, it's just adding a tablet or
it's almost like adding an extra phone line, so to speak. But so there's no phone number, obviously.
Well, there is a phone number associated with it, but obviously it don't ring or nothing like that.
Right.
But because it's a SIM card, there's a phone number associated with it on your account. And so basically it's a $20 charge through Verizon. We have an unlimited plan, so it's basically $20 a month to have the camera active through the SIM card on that. And so
now that brings up a good question. Is there charges on this? If you don't have an unlimited plan, does it use your data?
Yes, it will use data. Yeah. But like I say, we're real estate agents, so you know we use so much data on our phones every day. We have the iPad Pro that we use for business and all that, and so we use so much data. We have unlimited plans. So yeah, you know, if you did have a plan that is not unlimited, you would definitely want to watch how much you want to watch the camera, because it is using data when you turn that camera on. But we don't have a problem with it's unlimited, so it's just a flat $20 a month. We could watch it 24/7 if we wanted to. So good point, good point. And so but once you get the camera, you know, we ordered it, it comes to you in this nice fancy box. This isn't all of it. Took me forever to get in this stupid box.
The boxes are so hard to open.
I mean, they had so much security stuff on this thing that you can't just take the camera out and steal it. I guess if they had it in stores or something, but it took me forever. That's the reason why I've already got it out of the box for you guys. You did not want to see that monstrosity of getting it out of the box.
That's worse than childproof.
But anyways, it's super simple, because even if you didn't have another Arlo system, it's super simple. But we already had the other Arlo system up and running. So I mean, it literally was as simple as you go on your phone or you go online, you click add new device, it comes up and it'll ask you, you know, you adding a camera, you adding a, you know, the doorbell or whatever. When we clicked other, because this is an Arlo Go, and then once you click other, it lists the Arlo Go under there. You click on Arlo Go, and then you simply pop the battery in the back here. The battery simply comes right out. Right up inside here, there's a place for your SIM card, and there's also a place for a memory card. So it'll actually store your, you know, videos and everything on a mini SD card if you want to. I do keep one in there just because I have so many of them with all of our cameras, just to keep a hard recording if I ever needed it. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you able to take still photos with that as well if you choose to?
Yeah, you can take still photos with it. But
so
anyways,
if you happen to see something on your camera and you want to click a picture, just snap that picture and it'll store it on that SD card in there.
Yeah, but once you get it out of the box, which is I swear the hardest part of the whole process is getting it out of that box. Get it out of the box, take your battery, you simply pop your battery in, close the back up, and it's got some LEDs on the front here that'll go through a sequence. And once it goes through its sequence, you'll actually hear a chime. When you hear that chime, there's a button right here on the front. You'll mash that button and it'll make a camera click sound. When it does that, there you go. When it does that, there is a QR code
on your box.
Right back here. All you do is hold that in front of your camera lens, this camera, and it'll scan it. When it does that, it brings in all the information. It brings in the SIM card information. It brings in your phone plan information, everything, and it immediately syncs this phone up to your Arlo app. And so I mean, it can't get any simpler than that. And once it syncs it up, literally you're ready to go. I mean, it'll bring up your image, and you're ready to place it wherever you want to place it. It does have the standard screw mount on the bottom, just like any other camera you would buy nowadays. You know, you can put it on a tripod. They have different mounting brackets for it.
There's lots of options. Yeah.
Now this one does not have the magnetic mount like the Arlo Pro 3s do. Simple main reason, this thing's a little heavy. It's pretty heavy once you get that big battery in there.
And it's about twice the size of the Arlo Pros.
Yes.
It's a little thicker, a little bit more hefty.
Yeah. But I mean, literally, what you saw me just do, put the battery in, you heard the chime. The only thing I didn't do was click it because I done went through that process to set it up on mine. And then you're ready to rock and roll. You can take this anywhere as long as you've got at least 2 bars of signal, because it does, you know, push video through there. So you need at least 2 out of the 5 bars for signal. Anywhere you take this, you can set it up, and you can arm it just like your other Arlo cameras. You can do geofencing with it, you know, so that whenever you're around the camera, it automatically turns the camera off. It disables the camera so you're not setting it off. And then once you leave that proximity, it'll automatically arm the camera. And then once it detects movement or sound, you can set either or both. It'll activate and give you an alert on your phone. You can do scheduled timings of it, so if you want it to come on a certain times, or you can just regularly arm it, and every time it detects motion or sound, or, you know, whichever way you want to program it there, it'll set off. So when we're set up at our shows, obviously I just arm it, and that way if it picks up any sound, so like if the wind's blowing really hard and the tent's flapping, it's going to set it off. But I kind of want to know that.
Exactly.
Or if somebody unzipped the tent, tried to get inside, do something, which we've never had that happen, it would detect the movement, send me an alert, and we could immediately see what's going on too. Now, when we're not at shows, what I do is we have a trailer that we keep all of our merchandise in, and as we make new merchandise, we just kind of put it in the trailer, and that way we're always ready to go. And the way my house is shaped kind of weird. My house feels like an octagon at sometimes.
We have a lot of corners,
a lot of
points.
A lot of blind corners. And so where I park the trailer at, my other cameras don't necessarily pick it up very well. And so what I do is I actually set this and aim this at the trailer, and then I set it on a time schedule because during the day we're out there working and stuff and don't want to be setting it off. So I set it so at a certain time at night, when I know that we're going to be done with everything, it automatically arms and it kind of watches over the trailer for us while we're here at home. And it I'll take some screenshots of my phone here in a minute and overlay them over this, but when you got it on your Arlo system, it pops in there just with the other cameras. The Arlo Pro 3, we've got a 3-camera system that we bought. And by the way, right now Arlo's got those on sale for a steal. No joke. I mean, they're only like $6.99. I think they're $4.99 right now on sale.
And do you know how long that lasts?
I think through the end of the month.
Through the end of October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a pretty good deal on those right now if you're looking for something like that. And they have all their other cameras discounted too. I don't remember all the other discounts, but I do remember that. This is by no way sponsored by Arlo. I have paid every penny for this retail. And so don't think I'm trying to push you on something that I'm getting for free, because I did not get any of this equipment for free. But it's a good buy. But it's really neat because, well, like I say, once you sync this up, it puts it right in there. So I see my other 3 cameras that I already have, and then I have this one, and you can rearrange that sequence too if you want this one to be on top or whatever. You are in complete control of all that, which is what I really like about the Arlo. There's so many different ways to set it up. There's so many different custom preferences you can do, and
well, and Arlo's super smart. It can even detect whether it's a vehicle or a person or an animal that is setting off your camera. And we've had a few that it kind of messed up a little bit on. So like there was a time when there was an animal in the backyard and it said it was a person, and vice versa, but not often. Usually they're very spot on, and so that gives you a little heads up about what is triggering your camera.
Now, in order to get that function, you do have to have the subscription. And I am not a big fan of having to pay a subscription every month. That's something that kind of bugs me on a lot of things. And it's not just Arlo. Nearly everything is going to subscription based nowadays on everything. And I hate it. I hate getting a feed every month. But the Arlo fee for up to 5 cameras is only $9.99 a month. And it is really worth it because it gives you 30 days worth of recordings.
It will hold your recordings
because
for
if you don't have that Arlo subscription, on the Arlo Go you get 7 days worth of recordings that it keeps. But on the Arlo Pro 3 and up, you only get 1 day. And so if you had a problem, say you was going on vacation and something happened and you didn't know it and you got back 2 or 3 days later, if you don't have that subscription, that recording is gone. And so I like having the 30 days worth of recordings to go back, and just in case something happened I need to go back and look at something. But in that fee also is where it gives you the ability to have activity zones. It gives you the ability to have, like she says, package detection, person detection, vehicle detection. And so where we have one of our cameras mounted on our house is where the UPS guy always drops our packages at by our door. And so when he comes up and drops a package, no joke, this camera detects that he's holding a package, and it'll send me.
It zooms in on it and shows you where the package is. And I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever seen a notification that you've had a package delivered, and then you get home and you're like, where did they put it?
Yeah.
This we never have to guess because it shows us exactly where they dropped the package.
But it sends us a message and says, package delivered, and like I say, if somebody walks up, it lets us know it's a person. We had raccoons out here the other day come up on the porch, and it's so funny. It said animals detected on the front porch, and we looked, and it was 2 raccoons coming out here at night, kind of I guess looking around for some food or something.
They wanted to hang out by the fire pit.
Yeah, and so, but it's like she said, it's really, really accurate. You know, we've got a couple of missed ones in there that called it something different than what it was, but not many.
That doesn't happen often. No.
And so that's a nice sequence to have. And the activity zones, when I first got these, the older I get, the less bells and whistles I like for some reason. I used to like all the bells and whistles, but the older I get, that's more stuff I have to learn and remember. And so when I first got the Arlo Pro 3, I didn't think that I would use the activity zones. But those cameras are so
They're
sensitive.
So sensitive.
They pick
everything.
up. I mean, no joke, guys. I got one camera mounted on the back side of my house that is at least 150 feet to the corner of where the street is, and that thing will still pick up vehicles going down the road. And so where we're on a corner lot, and so we have the main road in front of us, and so without using that activity zone,
our battery life was so low because it kept detecting and using that battery and
well,
popping up so often.
Yeah, and it just bugged you to death because every time a vehicle went by, it would set it off.
And it was completely information that we did not need.
Right. Yeah, I did not need to know every vehicle that went by my house, and so we was able to take that activity zone and
dial it in.
And again, I'm not going to go in detail on it because if you're buying the Arlo system, it's going to come with instructions and it shows you how to dial in those activities.
Super easy.
Arlo's actually really good. They even send you emails after you buy their system, and so it's kind of like a tip of the week thing, and so it'll tell you how to dial in your activity zones, how to do this and how to do that, and they'll send it to you in a very step-by-step informative email. And so that's how I learned how to set up the activity zones. And so I was able to dial it in so that the road is still in the view of the camera, so that if somebody walked into my front yard and it set off the camera, I could still get their tag number or whatever on the street going out because it would activate the camera once it's in the yard, but it's not setting it off every time somebody drives down the road. And so I really like the activity zones.
Well, and I don't know if he's mentioned it, but you can pull up the app on your phone and just watch your cameras in real time, live.
Yep.
And so even if something hasn't triggered your camera, if you just wanted to pull up your camera and see what was going on in your front yard, we can look at that and see what's happening on the road, who may be in our yard or, in the perimeters of our neighbors' yards even.
Yeah. In today's world, if something was to happen across the street, our cameras might accidentally have picked it up.
Or at least get part of it.
And help law enforcement in that way. So, again, when we put up our cameras, it wasn't because we had a break-in or anything like that. It was kind of an odd thing. Go back and watch some of those. We actually had a person hit our house with a car.
With their car, yeah.
And so that's what made us actually put up the cameras, just because we thought, well, what would have happened had we not been at home? Would we have known? Could they have just driven away or whatever? So, anyways, that's the reason why we got the cameras. Okay, sorry, we'll pick back up where we left off. Lawn company came to mow the neighbor's yard across the street. They couldn't hear anything for all the lawn mowing and weed blowing and everything else. So, anyways.
We improvise.
We'll finish up. We moved out to the backyard just so we could finish up, guys. So anyways, I hope that helps you a little bit on what the Arlo Go is and how it functions. I hope that gives you a good update on the Arlo Pro 3 because, like I said, we've got a lot of responses on the Arlo Pro 3 system, and we've had it now for how long? Gosh, 6 months at least.
Yeah, I would say at least 6 months.
6, 8 months maybe, and we've been very, very happy with that system. And like I say, going over all what we was talking about, the activity zones and all that, we've really got to learn that, where on the first video we didn't know all those functions. I mean, we knew they was there, and we kind of highlighted them, but we didn't go into any detail as far as did we lock them, do they function properly and all that, and they really do. And so again, if you're looking at either one of those systems, we love it. If you need something on the go where you're not with Wi-Fi, the Arlo Go you can't beat. And I'll be honest with you, even like hunters, trail cameras and stuff like that, I don't know many other cameras out there that functions off the 4G like this does. I know there's a couple of trail cameras that do, but I don't think they have some of the capabilities this does. So I mean, as far as the, when we was looking for one on the market, this was really the only camera that we found that works off, 3G, 4G network, and doesn't require Wi-Fi.
Well, and I will throw out something else, guys. When we first started our Roundabout life, we were doing a rehab on a house. And obviously, there was no internet service in that home because nobody was living there. And so we actually put our Arlo Go in that house. And ironically, we did pick up a trespasser. Somebody had come into the home and was walking around, and we were able to actually set off an alarm and
scare them off.
And speak through our Arlo Go and get them to leave without any problems happening. Nothing was taken and nothing was messed up. So it has been well worth the money for us.
Yeah, that was one scary little thing, because when it set it off, you know, I was actually at work in the office in town, and you know, I got the notification on my phone. I thought, well, that's weird. I thought, well, maybe it's a contractor or something, because a couple of contractors did have keys to the residence, but I thought, no, there's nobody scheduled to be there today. Pulled it up, and it was trespassers. And the thing I hear about the time I pulled the camera up live was, oh, wow, we can come back later. And of course, I freaked. And so she was able to call 911, get the police there. They was there super fast, and then we followed up. And we actually, from the video, actually ended up identifying the people and getting it resolved. Now, nothing was taken. We didn't have any problems.
It ended up just being a really big misunderstanding. They had no ill intentions, and they were just wanting to see the property. But had they been criminals and had ill intentions, I think the Arlo Go would have helped us in that regard.
Yeah, because again, having that video, having that photographic evidence, because from the video, again, I was able to snap a picture from the camera from the video and provide that to the police, and we actually put it out on our social media, and that's how we, with some friends of friends of friends, is like, oh, I know who that is. Well,
and again, you can set an alarm off through your Arlo Go, and you can speak through it. So we were able to enable that alarm. And as soon as that alarm started going off, they hit the road. They hightailed it. And so we don't know what would have happened had we not had that Arlo there.
Well, and the Arlo Pro 3s that we've got set up around the house too, they all also have they have spotlights on them, and you can enable or disable those. You know, because sometimes, you know, obviously if you're trying to catch a crook, you don't want to know that they're being recorded. But it's also kind of nice because, like, if we come out at night and come out to our camper, we have the one out back. This little spotlight does come on, and it's kind of like a night light, so it lights up so that we can, you know, get into the camper without having to turn floodlights on and everything else. And so it's a nice feature.
If we get home late at night, it lights up our way into onto our deck and into our house.
And so they do have, you know, all of them do have mics, so you can hear what's going on as well as see. And then they do have speakers to them, so you can speak to them. So if a delivery guy was leaving something out there, you could say, hey, you know, could you please leave that over there instead of here? And so it's a lot of really nice functions on it. So we've been really, really happy with our Arlo Pro 3. And probably we'll end up adding a few more cameras later on. Just like I say, we just have so many corners on this camera. We've got the 3-camera system we bought, and so we'll probably add another camera or two later on maybe. But some other little things I wanted to show you here just real quick is they do make skins for the Arlo Go. So if you need to camouflage, if you're putting it up in the tree, that's what we had at our when we had it up in our property up in the mountains. We actually put the camouflage skin on it because, again, you know, white kind of stands out when you stick that up in a tree.
Well, and I did say earlier the Arlo Go is about twice the size of the Arlo Pro, and what it is they're actually the same dimensions, you know, from the side angle. They're about the same size, but the Arlo Pro is about half of this width. The Arlo Go is just wider.
Yeah.
So these skins will not fit on the Arlo Pro.
No, they will not. These skins are made just specifically for the Arlo Go. Now, they do have where you can get the Arlo Pro in white or black, and I think you can get a black skin for the Arlo Pros. But the Arlo Go, when we had it up in our property over there, before we got the solar power hooked up to it, we actually bought this, which is a nice contraption. It's a battery charger, but it'll charge 2 batteries at one time. And so we do have 2 extra batteries for our Arlo Go. The Arlo Go does not have the battery life as the Arlo Pro 3s do. The Arlo Pro 3 says it can go up to about 90 days. Now that all depends on how much you have it setting off. We have ours very active. and set very sensitive. Again, I'm just a security freak, and I kind of don't know what's going on. So
But
we
even
set
with
ours
that-
off a lot.
But even with that said, our batteries don't have to be charged that often.
No, we end up charging our batteries about every 45 days or so, which isn't terrible. And again, you know, I use the magnetic mounts. I showed on my other video when we did when we first did the unpacking of them. I like the magnetic mount because that way I can just pluck that camera down and I can plug it in, and I don't know, probably an hour or so, 45 minutes to an hour, it's charged, and I just pop it right back up on that magnetic clip.
But that's not an option on the Arlo Go.
No, and so when we had it, and the Arlo Go doesn't have quite the battery. It says it has about a 30-day battery life, which is pretty accurate. And again, these I don't set. You know, this one doesn't set off as much as the Arlo Pros because it's a different function for us. And so I do get about 30 days out of each one of these batteries. But the reason why I bought the extra battery charger and the extra batteries was because to charge this battery, if you was to take it out, there's no way to charge this battery. So to charge this battery for this camera, they send you a plug that plugs in here on the back side. And so it's kind of cumbersome to fit that plug in there and then plug it up, and you know, you got this big long cord to charge and all that.
And for us in particular, we had it on property that was in the mountains, and so we would have to go and take the camera down, plug it up, drive around in our car long enough to let it charge that battery, and then, you know, reassemble it. And so that's why we chose to get the solar panel for it and the extra batteries.
Yeah, and so now I just keep this plugged up. Of course, it's got a cord that goes with it. I just didn't bring it out here, but this plugs into the wall like normal. It's like a little USB plug that plugs into here. Charges 2 batteries at once, and it charges these batteries probably an hour each.
Yeah, pretty
But
quick.
that way you just pop the battery out, swap it out, pop the other in, take the other and pop it back in here, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Always ready to go.
And so for only having to change it out every 30 days, it works out pretty good. So I hope that helps you guys. I hope you enjoyed the Arlo Go demonstration there and what it's about. Super great camera, guys. If you've got, you know, going to be somewhere without Wi-Fi, especially, you know, if you've got a lot of property, you know, say you live on acreage and you want to put one down at the driveway or something, that's the way to go because you don't have to worry about your Wi-Fi reaching and everything. And then the Arlo Pro 3 update is, you know, we absolutely do love it.
Yes.
And we did end up doing the subscription service, which, you know,
we were not planning to. No.
I originally was not planning to, but once I got to doing the features with the activity zones and the package detection and the person and the vehicle detection, it's really nice.
It was so worth it for us. Yeah.
And so been very happy with those, and like I said, we'll probably end up adding a couple of cameras. They're coming out with new stuff all the time. They actually have the Arlo Pro 3 camera with a big floodlight on it now, and so the camera itself has the small spotlight on it, but now you can actually get one with a big floodlight built into it also. So I mean, it works like just like a floodlight you would normally wire into your house, and again, wireless, so you don't have to worry about running that cable and everything to do all that. You just figure out where you want to mount it up there, put the battery in it, and you're ready to go. So I hope that helps. Like I said, we got lots of great comments last time on the Arlo camera video, and I hope this helps even more. I hope it gives you a little update on where we are with the 3, and also shows you something else that maybe you can do with the Go.
And if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot us a message or comment below, and we'd be happy to give you any advice we have.
Yeah, for sure. So keep tuning in. If you hadn't subscribed. As you've seen, we do all kinds of stuff. You know, we travel, we do craft shows, we do, you know, merchandise. So you know, you never know what you're going to see us out from week to week. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss a thing.
Definitely.
See ya.
Bye, guys.